covered the Neo Saban episodes again. I gave every episode, every season a shot, but there's episodes that dropped the ball past the court into the next stadium where I wanted to give up and not watch. Just binge it in a day, not care, mark it off as junk, and forget about it. That's how much these seasons annoy me. This is where I changed my mind on Turbo and Jungle Fury. A ton of this nonsense goes beyond being a poor season. What's more annoying, all the characters from Samurai to Ninja Steel at a basic level have good starting points. Bulk and Spike. Nice way to give old fans something, but because of this rushing and not caring about where the characters end up, just copy the Sentai, Samurai being the worst offender. There are episodes that they just do not care about the audience. Kids are smart, they're not stupid. We've had good episodes, great episodes, examples exist. This is not going backwards, that would be an insult to earlier years. This is breaking down on the road. I don't even know what's worse, having a consistent string of poor episodes or getting one good season and falling down Lothor's pit. I know these writers can do better, they've proven it in Beast Morphers, but that doesn't excuse what happened here. If I had to give one word to this era, schizophrenic. It didn't know what to do, it's trying to be PR, it's trying to be Super Sentai. The show ends up in Accident, Maryland. Thanks goes to JC Bro 2014 for the suggestions. If you have an idea or topic you'd like me to cover, leave a comment below. I might use it in a future video.
The Messenger.
Megaforce didn't just suffer from characters failing. With 20 episodes, they had to change and cut a ton of material out of Go Sager, which promptly screwed up. One of the biggest mistakes, which I didn't get, was the Messenger. Out of all the monsters they changed, he gets screwed and turned basically into an email reader. He's the second to last boss in Go Sager, and he only got 2 episodes in Megaforce. The Mantis arc of the season is arguably the best one, and that's the one they mess around with. While Blue Fur and Biggs, those guys got screen time, and they were the weakest group. They should have been reduced. The season felt like they watched the episodes, wrote each one in order, then they got to episode 15 and were like, yeah, we can't fit the final arc in 5 episodes, let's just cut out this guy. I was disappointed in Go Sager as it was, but cutting out chunks of the good stuff made me hate Megaforce more. Every which way they could have annoyed me, they did. Almost nothing bar the Jake and Gia subplot they had, I enjoyed. I really wanted to like Megaforce. I was gung-ho with the first episode being an homage to MMPR. I think the next 4 episodes were okay. After that, I can't defend the season.
The Bullsword.
This is not actually for the episode per se. It's basically a carbon copy of the Shinkendra one. The bigger problem is the precedent it's set up for the next 7 seasons. I'm talking about Shogun Mode, aka Samurai's Battleizer. When this first debuted, I was floored how well it was designed. Credit where credit's due. The design team knows how to make stuff. Even the figure was good from Bandai. All of this, plus it being a team-wide ability, I'm like, thank you. Except it wasn't meant to be, because these upgrades and many future upgrades end up being stuck in the US cockpits. They have suit power-ups, arguably more powerful than Super Mode, and they never, besides that one moment at the end of Season 2, use them. It's such a tease, and it's just there to sell toys. Selling toys is fine, but you gotta use this stuff. Standing around on podiums is not use. It was worse than Dino Charge. There was multiple upgrades, never to be used outside. It was this big moment for taming the Bullzord, the thing that was impossible, and we never get to see this armor in a real fight, just barely to get to see all 5 Rangers use the power-up. I wouldn't be surprised that only the helmets of the 5 Shogun Rangers existed while the suit was digitally changed in post to match. This is the type of thing that makes the show a toy commercial.
Harmony and Discord.
If you're just gonna copy the Sentai episodes 95% of the time, then don't bother giving the US characters different personalities. Emma had one trait to herself. She loved taking photos. At no point was this used as a key part for a story. It was used to start episodes every now and again, but nothing else. This episode relied on her being able to sing. Why not use her camera talent? If she loves taking photos, that means she does understand photography and filmography. It's not a stretch for her to also like video and audio. They could have changed how they counteracted the monster while abiding the Sentai. Instead of singing, the entire team could have set up an audio system where Emma directed everyone. Record the monster song like they played it backwards so that the waveforms cancel each other out. It's something different. It relies on Emma's expertise. The other Rangers can help out. It's US footage regardless, and it gives Emma's hobby more weight.
Love is in the air.
This got to me at a personal level. Love is in the Air was Turbo's tribute episode. but it didn't make sense. It made sense for Car Ranger, and that's the problem. When doing anniversary episodes, even when you have a restrictive budget, you should still be honoring PR, not telling a Super Sentai story. This would have been fine if the season had built up a good chunk of episodes, and this one being the dumb one. I'd live with it, but it wasn't. We get this odd love story with Invidious and Jake. The writers don't even try to use this plot to their advantage. If I had to adapt this episode as is, then it would have been for Jake and Gia. Jake from day one has tried to get Gia to notice him. Lavira had this love potion thrown on her. Why not use this to get Gia and Jake to confess? Jake out of spite dates Lavira. Pull a Lucas here. Go one step further. Maybe this would work in two ways. Lavira breaks out of the spell, then kind of understands humans better. Jake and Gia can admit something rather than her just changing in the season finale. You could have earned it here while using the Sentai footage. Nope. They copy Gokaiger right down to the garbage scene. Another way they could have done this is where Gosei explains everything. How he met Zordon, why did he stay dormant for years, and it could have been a bottle episode while giving longtime fans an emotional story. Don't drop the love plot per se, rework it. What better way to bring us back to Turbo and get Gosei to talk about his past if we get to see the remains of the command center? See the rubble that was left in Chase into space. I always pictured the command center as Zordon's gravesite. I think that's what Andros and the others would do. The story could have been Gosei needed some sort of special tech. Maybe he was injured during a fight in Gosei Ultimate, which didn't manifest until now. They scan the planet, locking onto a place in the middle of nowhere, which ends up being the old command center. The Rangers go there and they ask the obvious questions. What happened? Whose flag is this? What is this all about? It doesn't have to perfectly match the original episode, so it could easily be faked in New Zealand. Bar one visual effect shot showing the crater that leads right down to the power chamber. This is where Gosei finally talks about Zordon, how we met. Maybe we see a silhouette of Gosei and Zordon being human at one point, getting David Fielding to come back to do the voice. Now, how does the Lavira plot fit in? They just spot the Rangers investigating the remains, so she goes down there, tries to salvage things. Invidious goes along. The Rangers look down memory lane, gets interrupted with Lavira, and Invidious getting trapped in the rubble. Jake, being the nice guy, gets them out. Invidious gets jealous, allowing the Megazord footage to be used, keeping the important bits from Gokaiger while honoring Power Rangers Turbo. That's an anniversary episode to me.
Clash of the Red Rangers.
The movie is complicated. First, in continuity, this is supposed to take place in Super Samurai, but they go and air it in season 1. That's why Antonio has a light sword out of nowhere. Second, it's a combination of two films. Shinkencher's movie, which takes place very early in the season. The second being the Go Launcher team-up. This causes issues with Antonio and Scott not in one part of the footage. The biggest problem was the RPM cast, or should I say the lack of RPM cast. There's budget reasons why this happened. The RPM cast was under Disney, different ways you have to pay them, availability of them. A lot of these actors moved on to other things. They did bring Ika Darville back, but as a voice only. That was a way to save money. But it ends up making the character virtually useless in the movie. Plus, with the magic train and the whole oxygen thing, which gets ignored in Ninja Steel, mind you, both Antonio and Scott get thrown out of the second half, which was stupid. If you can't bring back the RPM cast properly, just don't do it. The whole point of a team-up is to see them again. Hear any progress with Earth in the other dimension. We got nothing but the other four meeting them off-screen. Clash of the Red Rangers could have still been a movie, it just had to be the main Shinkenger film. There was enough material to make 2 episodes out of that. The Shark Zord and Super Mode were good enough for its big moment. The RPM material was basically useless and could have been skipped. Gemma had a way better use in the Steel team-up over Scott. The only thing that came out of this was the continued use of Professor Cog.
A fish out of water.
It's not because the episode could have featured Antonio before he arrived, it's the fact that the writers took the Shinkenger story, copied and omitted certain things with the Fisherman. You go, what just happened? Kevin showed some random person him catching a Zord with a fishing pole. No one brings this up, no one cares, the guy doesn't care about the magic disc or the giant blue robot fish, nada. On top of it, the guy vanishes forever. It's like the writers are expecting you to have watched the Shinkenger episode to get context. It's just as bad as Professor Hulk in Endgame. I understand what's going on because I own 500 comics of Incredible Hulk under my belt. You ask anyone who's a fan of the MCU who doesn't read comics, they don't understand how that works because it happened off screen. That's horrible writing. This Fisherman is a plot hole. He never comes back as someone that knows the Shiba House, a good monster, Antonio in disguise, nothing. The reason why they cut away so fast is because they knew that the Fisherman was a problem. They just didn't want to deal with it. This is one of the major reasons why Samurai fails. If you're gonna copy Sentai this much, you gotta go all the way or you're gonna have issues like this everywhere.
Presto Changeo.
The Nexus Prism having the ability to give someone basically their wish, totally fine, except you do ask the question with Brody's dad not popping up after episode 2. Anyway, Preston getting magic, cool. Mystic Force had it, no problem so far, but did they show it off to Toby? Did they make the Rockporium a massive success? I don't think so. Why is that? Because it would expose them as Power Rangers or some aliens from another world. I don't think people would happily accept magic just like that. Fast forward 11 years later, we got some dude turning people into Minecraft characters, rabbits coming out of hats, a real lion scaring not just Victor, but an entire room of students. What do you think happens in this moment? A, everyone screams and runs away. B, everyone posts on Twitter that Preston can do magic. Or C, everyone thinks Preston is a monster, so they try to call the Power Rangers. If you answer none of the above, you are correct. Is this World on Prozac or something? Don't tell me when they broke this episode in the writing room, none of them said, no one gets scared of the lion. This is the type of stories Power Rangers wants to tell. That's where I'm leaving it.
The Royal Rival.
To be fair, Billy has done some amazing feats of science before, one being that holographic CD-ROM thing, but that was really it when it comes to public stuff. However, Sarah has been a big issue in ninjasteel since day one. It's the disconnect with how the show is framed. It's 2017, and we have smartphones, standard cars, generic internet. It's not like New Tech City in SPD, but the show is telling us to accept Sarah stuff as common or not impressive. That don't work. It was already bad in the pilot with her hoverboard. Her Zord could have easily come from something simpler like she really loved trains, had drawings shown in advanced tech class or something, not a hoverboard. Sarah can be a genius and build all these things for the team all she wants. Just don't show it to the public. It just makes you think, why isn't she running a company? This episode goes a million steps further than just some dumb hoverboard. It introduces us to magic food. This is not just a problem for the world, this also damages potential stories for the Rangers. You can turn virtually anything into cookies. Even if it was just restricted to cookies, I don't think starving people would care. Why was this B-plot created? I get that you need to show the princess that humans are good people, not like this. This would damage almost any science fiction show bar series that can replicate food. If they had the Rangers' minds get erased and the machine destroyed, that would have been okay, but they couldn't have the emotional moment at the end. A perfect example of feelings taking priority over a grounded story. They had so many outs and the writers didn't take them. Also, what's the limit on this machine? Can you chuck a person inside? Sarah created Majin Buu.
End of Extinction.
Why am I still bringing up this episode? I am tired of it. I'm more disappointed in the fact that they thought bringing back dinosaurs was a cool idea. How does that benefit anyone? Remove the time travel stuff for a sec. What does it really do for the world? It's just more zoos on the planet, another endangered species potentially, and you lose all the mystery. They're there just like horses. Nothing really special. It also makes the Rangers look bad. A Power Ranger tries to keep order and lives intact. Why would they not fix it? They've stared down crazy odds before, but now they don't care? Keeper obviously doesn't care about changing history, so erase your past selves as much as you need till you get it right. That's the thing about time travel. If paradoxes don't matter, fix it. There's no excuse. The Rangers just look lazy. It's just as bad as the Rangers in Dark Wish. That's what made me look at Dino Charge differently. You don't care how you ended season 2. I lost all respect for season 1.
The Adventures of Redbot.
How does this get made? The writers must have been desperate for ideas. They just did it and didn't think of the overall picture on what this does to the Rangers and how horribly they ruined Redbot. It was already bad enough that this character was useless. He only was here to facilitate where Brody got his Zord from. After that, he's just set dressing. He did get an episode with Haley, I'm not going to complain about that one. Redbot just needed more to do. This is not what I meant. Redbot keeping a diary of all the Rangers' fights, nothing wrong with that, besides him being a robot, which he could keep all this internally in memory. But no, Some publisher guy was able to track down Redbot's IP all the way back to the school, basically exposing the Rangers. But that story isn't interesting. No. Having a news station going around the school trying to figure out where the Power Rangers are, any of these kids or teachers could be them, that idea is just plain boring, right? Imagine the teachers were in danger. Galvanax took this as an idea, kidnapping them. A story like that? Nah. Instead, we got a publisher that wants to print all the stories of Redbot into a book, and the moral of the episode was Redbot embellishing the truth. Skipping over that the guy's not scared Redbot is a robot, and that Redbot is talking to this guy in public. I'm done. I am done. ninjasteel, you broke my brain. This episode's an insult to people's intelligence. This should have been scrapped. The moral is not even good. It fails in so many ways. Don't Blow That Dough used to be the worst episode of PR. Then came End of Extinction. I thought, no way could they make something worse. But that's me thinking they'd only make stories with plot holes and bad writing, not this nonsense. If I had to grade every era, Neo Saban would be at the bottom. Besides Dino Charge Season 1, they have no redeeming qualities bar fluff like suit designs and core character ideas. I mean, they were lazy on naming things. Mia, Gia, Emma, Gemma, we got a second Mike. I really feel sorry for the actors. They did their best. Rarely do I want to fault them. It's even more aggravating when I know the writers can do better, have done better in the past, and even present. So far, Beast Morphers, no complaints. I'm not expecting stellar after stellar season. No one's perfect, but the moment they came back after that year delay, rushing Samurai out, they never recovered. I thought skipping Sentai's and making seasons 2 seasons long would help. Regardless how you feel about that, the show is still 40 episodes, ignoring Megaforce and Super Megaforce. That's enough episodes. I don't like bad-mouthing them, but I have to do it when they screw up, just hoping someone sees the criticism and improves. New episodes Mondays, fan commentaries Tuesdays, next week, villains that started strong but ended weak. If you like my content, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Due to fair use abuses from the various companies, I no longer feature footage from the various episodes. Thank you for understanding. See you in the next video.